Or maybe I'm mixing the games up. You know, there's so many games going on. Hard to follow them all.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah. I'm just thinking back about, like, SF used to be a bit of a counter against Brood, but that was back when Brood had, you know, Spiderlings before level 6. So I'm not sure how this actually works out with the Brood Mother against SF, because he's got razors to kind of contend with the Spiderlings a little bit, as long as he lands his razors. And Cookie is a little disengaged tool. They're definitely going to need something to squash the bugs here for Team Aster.
Yeah, you can see some of these. The ban on Pengo designed to maybe protect the Brood and the Spiderlings. Like, it's the kind of wave clear that feels nice against the Brood. The Beastmaster, Beastmaster with SF, I think, is a great pairing. Like, there's a few heroes, Beastmaster as well as the Pudge, who just seem to really combo well with SF into these like 5-man death ball drafts in the mid game. You have this tanky vision hero and in Beastmaster you have a hero that really amps up the SF's damage and synergizes with the physical damage build. So no surprise to see these two heroes banned out.
Yeah, so previously, along with the Broodmother, we've had a lot of Jakiros and Leshraks. Some of these heroes that give you additional abilities to push down towers, close out objectives for Entity. So we might see something along those lines come out in that next phase. They've got the team fight starts with the Nyx Assassin, so now they need someone to partner up with him, someone that can go around the map and maybe look for kills. I've really loved these support duos. You know, they can't have Nyx Snap in this game because Snap's gone, but along those lines of having a Nyx Disruptor that can find a core and kill them just on their own is always really nice.
Yeah, I think the hunting and vision aspect of Nyx is always so good. You've got Spiderlings as well. I think we're seeing more and more teams really prioritize heroes, and I think for vision, like a lot of these kind of heroes that are kind of popping up in the meta here and there, I think a lot of the strength, you know, it's kind of an unmentioned part of like Enigma, for example. It's like you have these Eidolons, which come mid to late game, you're just sending out to do some scouting. The Enchantresses, you know, Nyx as a hero, as a body does that. The Spiderlings do that. Vision is just so important in Dota, particularly when your enemy are like playing around their cliff wards and you can't go running in. You almost need one of those like summons to send in to scout things out.
Yeah, especially when so much of the game is focused around Roshan. You know, being able to scout side lanes or high grounds, it gives you such vital information leading into team fights. As Entity, they opt for the Silencer. So a bit of a combo breaker here against the SF Snap. Yeah,
they've liked their Silencer, and they, as well as a lot of these teams coming out of Europe, Puppy's been playing it for Secret. Gaimin Gladiators have been playing it. They've been doing this like Silencer Brewmaster lane a lot. Although we're not going to be seeing any Brewmaster, it looks like we'll be off-lane Brood. So just a solid 5 that for not for any like for some reason it's kind of become this big go-to for a lot of these support players.
And what do we need now for the Team Aster? SF Snap leading into the Omni Knight.
Oh.
Has he been picked yet? He feels like a fresh hero to me.
Is he a first timer? Let me quickly check.
Yeah, have a quick look, because I don't think I've seen him, and I've not noticed him looking back on drafts, you know, through Dota Buff or anything like that. I don't see him on the unpicked unbanned, so I think he was grabbed previously.
5 seconds remaining.
And a Mars for Team Aster as well.
One Omni Knight pick by Tundra Awaken.
Oh, that was close.
Yep. Just the one. Didn't go well for them. That was a game Team Secret took, but Aster going to look to remedy that. Picking it with the Mars, so there's your kind of, your Spiderling AoE wave clear. Also just good team fight. I think against the Brood, like having the wave clear is important, but also having the catch. That's where Beastmaster is pretty good against Brood as well. You want to just be able to, have that blink stun initiator who can just jump on her and force these kills.
I'm trying to figure out the role of the Omni Knight here, because it's not as though, he can dispel global or anything like that. Is it just like a matchup of Omni Knight does decently against Nyx in the lane and keeps the SF alive, similar to like an Undying?
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not seeing like a 100% clear intention behind it. I think the Guardian Angel has a lot of value against Brood Morphling because that's 2 physical damage cores. So Entity haven't gone for much mixed damage here. They're going to almost be forced into some kind of Stormer mid laner that's got magic damage, and that makes it very straightforward with these bans. Like the Invoker gets banned out. We could even see like a Zeus ban potentially. I think makes Entity's ability to win these team fights into Omni a bit tricky.
Or the other option. Position 1 Mars with an Omni Knight. Shadow Fiend mid. Build up this Mars carry to deal with the Broodmother. Just keep him in that lane. There's Aster banning out their final hero here. Yeah, Stormer heroes. Batrider still out in the pool, it looks like. Visage is there as well, something he's like to grab from time to time. It's actually Entity themselves that ban out the Storm Spirit.
Wonder what, he has his mind on. I think the Storm ban maybe suggests, like the Zeus I mentioned, it is the magic damage hero. They don't have catch outside of Nyx Assassin, though. I think Aster similarly looking for a bit more catch and playmaking out their mid lane. That's where the Storm Spirit gets banned. But like Ember's still in the pool. Puck comes to mind as well. Ooh.
See, I'm looking at this and thinking like Tinker and Lina are good heroes for Stormer, but are they good for the game?
The Lina looks okay so far. Like there's the Mars, I guess, is a bit of a problem with the Bulwark. And also the ability to jump on top of you. But as far as the Lina versus SF, that that feels really nice for the Lina matchup.
Yeah. I think the struggle I always have is Broodmother doesn't give you team fight. So you're looking at Nyx Silencer as all of your team fight and catch. And then Brood Morphling are kind of, pressure, right click, scale into late game on the Morphling.
Yeah, Entity just don't seem to have a super well-rounded draft right now. That often happens when you pick Brood because it's just like cheesy, gimmicky hero. You get a lot of... get this big early to mid game advantage from Brood, but it's all about making sure that you kind of close the game out. If it drags too long, the Brood can kind of fall off and feel ineffective.
And it's probably still just the Batrider out there, honestly. Tinker as a side option. I think Storm Spirit has been one of these heroes that answers Batrider a little bit in the lane.
I like the idea of Batrider. I think that makes a lot of sense. Entity do also get the counter pick, so they'll get to know whether it's a matchup against Shadow Fiend or someone else.
It's like if they ban Quap here, it's like guaranteed Batrider, I think. Yeah. And then what do Aster need? We're still looking for their mid/safe lane, depending where SF goes, I guess. Leaving that flex open to the last pick.
Yeah.
Entity taking their time.
Definitely want to pick something that doesn't have too many bad matchups, but it's like a Kunkka maybe. They banned Slark. Again, it just depends so much with Aster, but is Shadow Fiend going mid or safe lane? Entity, you don't have a clue. They're banning out a carry in a mid because they don't know. I think the flexibility is obviously up until now been a big strength. They're going to have to reveal it or pick another flex hero, but kind of depend. I think they need to maybe address the Morphling a bit with whatever this pick is here.
Does Slark scream back to you as well?
I think Slark is for the Morphling matchup, but it does also protect against the Batrider. Will protect if you want to go for a Batrider, so absolutely.
Entity's turn to pick.
Final one for Aster, the Lone Druid.
Ooh. That's scary. We've seen, I think it was Lone Druid SF from Liquid during Last Chance qualifiers. Yeah. It was like one of the lower bracket deciding games, and they just steamrolled with it. Combine it with a team fight of a Mars and the Omni heals and sustain. Like that's a very potent draft that's going to come online in a way that Morphling is not ready to kind of fight and defend. If you're Entity, you're thinking we need AoE wave clean, we need deep push, we need some kind of like nuke that just stalls and buys time.
Yeah, and then that might have to be the leader. Going back to that one, got Dragon Slave and Light Striker Ray to kind of shove back and follow through on a Nyx Assassin initiation. It feels like that's also what they're lacking a little bit here. But they go with the tried and true Batrider for Stormer. Yeah, saw that coming a little bit in the draft. But I've got to say that it's not even a last pick. It's the penultimate pick, Lone Druid. It doesn't seem like a super fast-paced lineup with the first 4 they've got. And then LD comes, and suddenly this is like a 20-minute steamroller from Aster, potentially.
Yeah, it's one of these drafts where it's like lose one team fight and you just lose like half your base or lose a Roshan. Like once SF hits level 15, combine that with the Lone Druid Bear, and you just get eaten alive, or at least your buildings do. If Pure gets enough Ominous Morphling, like you've got a Agi carry that doesn't really care as much about the minus armor because he's just like once he gets enough farm. So I think the Pure Morphling is kind of that game winner if they can get the game into the late game.
We'll see if they can do that. A lot of space has to be made by Toby on this Broodmother. His laning stages is absolutely vital here for Entity. Broodmother, a hero that can fall short if she doesn't come out of that laning stage with a significant lead. So like we're saying, doesn't really offer you too much in terms of team fight. It's It's all map pressure from Toby there to create a bit of an opening in the enemy jungle for the Nyx and the Batrider to start playing aggressively. I can absolutely see Aster matching them every step of the way here, though, with a Mars Snap. Like, that duo of heroes, not super long cooldown ultis, but a lot of firepower.
Yeah, it's a bit of a throwback, and the team fight potential of that is pretty brutal. They've got the silencers because it's kind of combo breaker and also a way to just instantly cancel the Mortimer's Kisses. So I think there is ways to kind of try and counterplay it. But at the same time, it's scary nonetheless. And XXS, his Mars is fantastic. He's played this hero countless times, and there's every offlane I feel like at this point has played a lot of Mars, but he definitely stands out when it comes to his ability to play Mars.
Yeah, and especially in the first couple of levels here, you're playing into a Morphling lane. I think we'll have our eyes pretty much glued onto that lane of XXS plus the Snapfire. Make sure that Morphling, pre-level 3, could get kill threat on him.
What, you don't want to watch the Omni SF lane with all their kill threat?
With a brood mother against them? Not really.
That sounds like a thriller.
We'll ignore that lane and look at the other two.
Omni light lanes are, definitely not known for their excitement.
a little dull. We'll see
Awesome.
how they set things up.
They're swapping lanes on Aster. They're sending the Mars to the safe lane and the lone druid up top, it looks like.
Oh. So Mars is the answer to Brood then?
I guess they feel it's definitely going to be better when Spiderlings come online. I think early levels it doesn't matter quite as much, but they do seem to think that maybe Mars is better there. With that said, XSS is now joined up top a bit too, so they probably want to scout out some of these lanes before they commit to anything.
Yeah, see what they get up to. Well, I guess equally this lone druid Omni Knight, and it's going to be LD in one of the side lanes. SF, Ori heading into mid. It looks like Morphling. What's it going to be? Morphling Silencer against Omni Lone Druid. That seems good for Aster again.
Yeah, I think laning setup for them is very solid here. As far as the mid lane goes, maybe the one lane where they won't have the same kind of edge, depending on how SF can do with his raises here. I think Batrider early level. I mean, if SF gets off to a good start and starts building up souls and zones the Batrider with raises, it is a lane that can swing heavily in the SF's favor.
The battle begins.
Yeah, all about landing your raises as well. The top rune. I'm going to be grabbed up here by the Omni Knight. Sneaks one. And 4. Actually, all 4.
That's instant GG, right? Isn't that how it works?
Over. Yeah. The throne collapses. Dire base in tatters. Game's over. I'm going to have that 1k lead for Aster heading into these lanes, which, we kind of favor them in as well. We'll see how that actually plays out with potential for bonus salves and a bit of extra regen for them. As it looks like Entity were considering, they've gone for lane swaps themselves as well.
Yeah, they've caught on to what's going on. Comes a little bit late. Aster themselves probably can't make a lane swap with it just being too long a distance to walk. They'll just have to settle for these lanes now, but they've already got the the small edge by having their lane set up first, so they get the early little CS advantage.
I see across all 3 of that. Lone Druid against Broodmother. Silencer trying to zone away the Omni Knight, but he's got the wave pull. Gonna go drag that behind his tier 1. The Fisherman will follow him, try and deny and sap up some of the experience.
Yep. Then we've got the SF versus Bat mid. Batrider getting some good early last hits. SF being forced to throw out a lot of raises. Down bottom, you can see already both teams eyeballing possible kill openings. Definitely a lane where I think, as far as eyeballing lanes, I think this bottom lane is going to be the big one where, kills could potentially happen.
Yeah, and they've got the big added bonus with this lane swap of being able to cookie forward and spear back under tower. So they can add quite a lot more damage to their combo with the Snap and the Mars up against this Morph and Nyx. Oh, yeah, the picture-in-picture there, it's actually Lone Druid that comes back to gather up the wave. Dire Creeps meeting his tier 1. Oh, the cookie. Doesn't connect the spear to the tree, though, so Kataomi, he's going to scurry away.
Yeah, so far, these lanes going slightly Aster's way, as we kind of talked about and expected a bit. Neither team really playing too much around these pulls in the side lanes. It looks like they want to prioritize making sure that if there is any kind of harass trade happening that they're getting the better of it. But Boca doing a really good job just keeping Pure at bay.
Force him away from those creep waves. Don't let Morphling get his last hits freely. And what, 10 and 5 on this Mars already. XXS having a dream game.
Yeah, getting the denies is... I mean, a few of those were because Morphling was running from top side of the map to the bottom, but he's been able to continue getting them even since then.
And looks like SF catching up as well, getting denies of his own. So now he's got all these stacks up.
And the level 4 with the level 2 Necromastery is where the bonus damage really starts to kick in, and I feel like you can get denies on most creeps in this lane now. Gets pretty tricky for Stormstormer. He's going to want to try and go for some kills, particularly around support rotations. Nyx Assassin would be a... Oh, speaking of Nyx Assassin, he's getting caught in the jungle here, but he'd love a rotation mid from Nyx, but Kataomi's just trying to get out of danger here.
And does get the bounty in at least. Forced to salve up and he's going to lurk around, but he's under a Radiant Obs ward. Every step that he makes is scouted. So Baboka attempting a little half pull. Yeah, grabs the range creep. That's good enough. Deny what you can. Keep giving this Mars a good time.
Yeah, this CS is so Radiant favored right now. It does take a little bit for Brood to kind of come online, and up against the Lone Druid, it's hard to kind of get those laning stage last hits as much. Not even going for the Silken Bowler. It's not really worth it because there's both Lone Druid and the Baron. You can't use it on both.
I mean, what's the Brood's role this game? Because I know that Entity with this Brood Mother, they like the kind of Aura Bot style with Wraith Pact, Pipe, Assault Cuirass, that kind of thing. Is it the same story here for Toby?
I think it almost has to be, because this game's is going to be played at such a fast pace with the pushing potential of Lone Druid, SF Omni, that you can't go too greedy and you can't try and scale. So he's got Arcane Boots queued up. I would expect, yeah, Wraith Pact and team might make even like a Crimson Guard type build may be considered.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. He does lose his Wraithband recipe though. Omni Knight hiding himself in the trees and finding a snipe on it. Continuing to give the Lone Druid a good time. Has a stun on bottom. Nyx trying to fight back into Baboka, but this range strength hero, unusual. But the Snapfire in a very good spot just to tank up all the spells. It's not XXS. Misses the spear on Pure.
Swing and miss there, but bit of a mind game. But Boca and Kataomi are just playing this like he's trying to get the Scatter Blast on Nyx Assassin, and Nyx Assassin is trying to carapace it, so he has to keep pump faking it.
Nice. Good cookie. And they've got the chain stuns this time to blow up the Nyx.
Perfectly done. Just great recognition that he was just a little bit out of position there, and unless he carapaces the cookie, he's going to get chain stun. And even if you carapace the cookie, you're still in a bit of a crappy situation.
Yeah, Scatter Blast slow comes in. God, I don't know why that was so difficult to say. They're getting late in the day for me, apparently. Old man brain kicking in. And Nyx Assassin now moving into mid, but look at the rotation from Aster. Not just matching it, but bringing more numbers around the 6-minute rune spot. Cookie forward onto Ori. And now the Razor is going to get launched down onto Kataomi. Long range coming off cooldown in 2 seconds, but it looks like with that stick, the Nyx Assassin's all right.
It's back to safety, but both teams really want to play around this mid lane before these 6 minutes rune spawns. It does create a bit of a barrier with top rune controlled by Entity and bottom by Aster. Unfortunately for Aster, spawns top, and Omni in a bit of trouble, but with Ori's SF here, he's keeping Omni alive.
Yeah, all walking down that river into the Razors. Scary times for them. And Baboka there to get a bit of chip damage back as well. But no refill for Ori, the big deal there for them, as Batrider does get the rune grab for himself.
They've got a 2k gold lead. That's pretty crazy. 6 minutes in with just the 1 kill. They're just completely out farming these side lanes, and they're the ones whose lineup kind of comes online first in a very scary way to take some of these early objectives. So definitely a good sign for Aster that the lanes are going this well.
Yeah, it really favors them with 6 heroes mid, the 2 side laners. Mars doing very well against the Morphling continues and keeps the pressure on with Baboka's rotation back. Let's keep Pure away from creep waves, while top lane, catapult waves there for Monet. Chipping away at the tier 1. Nothing Toby can do to really do that. He needs Stormstormer's help with the Entangling Claws, keeping the Batrider a little bit further back. The Dispel coming out from Simon's Cat. Gonna lasso off the Lone Druid though. Drag him back and kill him off.
Yeah, or he tried to make the TP rotation and used maybe a Requiem to fear everybody away, but good use of the lasso to prevent that kind of counterplay, and a great gank on the lone druid. That's going to be the hero that really sets the tempo for Aster, so slowing down this Mask of Madness timer is going to really help out Entity when it comes to buying them some time.
Yeah, it's super important to get Stormstormer involved. Get a bit of speed and the Stormstormer's back. Needs his timing on the boots of travel. A long way away. So we're looking for some ancient stacks and jungling here for the Batrider in the meantime. And kill-wise, it is a pretty slow-paced game. But I think you're right in terms of Aster being able to hit their stride a little bit faster. Looking good for them, favoring them coming out of this laning stage as it does start to break down. And rotation's top. Ori's just leaving the mid lane. DD Rune looks like they want to claim the tier 1 already.
This kind of pace for these push drafts always feels like a one-to-one game where there's been no fighting. When you're the ones with a push draft, feels good because you're not meant to do much in the lane stage. You're meant to just farm up and get your levels, get your items, and now they start making their moves with the level 6 bear as well as the Shadow Fiend having maxed out raises. They've rotated everyone on top and got a great arena down to kill the Brood.
Yeah, down goes Toby and Fishman too. Double kill for Monet and a tier 1 tower, their prize to claim.
Yeah.
This Omni pick seems pretty damn good, because every debuff that's on you, sticky napalm or the silken bowler, silence from silencer, every little bit counts to give additional little buffs in here from that Heavenly Grace, and he's going to find Stormstormer with a little whack of his hammer. Ori wants to steal some stacks. Entity not going to give this away for free though, starting to bring some heroes to defend it, but it looks like it's too little too late.
Well, Raisin's gone, but down bottom, they've made a move. They want to get this Snapfire. It's just the support who's trying to delay the push down here, but it's a play Entity have to make. They need to make sure they don't get caught back in the mid lane, but without Mazarina, Aster kind of lack that catch to punish Entity from being split up.
Yeah, instead, they'll go and shift their efforts into mid. 4 heroes strong, looking for the tier 1. Don't have a counterpult for another, 40 seconds until it actually arrives at the tower itself. So a bit of damage here, just setting up for that moment, and already Entity expending the glyph, bringing a few heroes to defend it. But when Lone Druid arrives, and this bear with Blightstone and Ori's right clicks, they do add up very quick. Shadow Fiend though, going for the bottom rune. Stormstormer grabs the invis, and he did have a lasso there, but opting not to go for the play.
I think with the Omni scene behind, there's not really any point. Heavenly Grace can come out, so we'll just concede the mid-tier 1 tower, and they're doing all of this kind of before some of these key item timings. The Mask of Madness wasn't even up. Just Blightstone, gloves, and quarterstaff on the bear, and the mask being delivered now means the push is really going to start ramping up, and he's eyeing off a Desolator next. I do think Aster need to be careful not to overly 5-man. They still want to get things like the level 15 on SF, so I think splitting their resources makes sense.
Well, pure baiting here, but the immediate entangling claws under the sentry. The global, that'll allow them to kill the Lone Druid. No Savage Roar, no ways out, and the Omni Knight didn't get any saves onto the Lone Druid either. So his attempted TP cancelled, and pure, the bait play works out for the Morphling beautifully there.
Very nicely done. Even with the first hit route, they are still able to get the kills, and I think for Aster, they're okay with this. They're actually going to throw out an arena down bottom.
Yeah,
with the kisses
getting run out. The kisses onto Toby. Good damage onto the Broodmother, but they need another God's Rebuke to finish the job. Kataomi still under invis. Are there any sentries? Yeah, there's one sentry over there, and it's being pinged out. Brood tells his Nyx to run the other way.
Nyx took it out of there, but that's such a nice kill to get. They'd already lost the tier 1 mid tower, so Brood just playing alone down there. And yeah, it kind of goes back to what I was saying. I think for Aster, it's okay. They don't necessarily want to overly 5-man. You're not getting any of these tier 2 towers, I think, anytime soon. You're happy with the tier 1 mid and top, because that kind of frees up the Roche pit and makes it really hard for Roche to be contested later on. So going for these tier 1s makes a lot more sense to me.
And if Monet can farm out, a top wave, dip back into Ancients, he's going to accelerate very quickly. While the rest of the team, and Kataomi, he moves into stun, but he's cookied and speared, killed off by the Purify out of Siamese Cat. And this tier 1 tower bottom, and you can try and defend it, but it looks forfeit to me.
I thought now they've lost Nyx, it for sure is, but given that Kisses and Arena's on cooldown, it's definitely concerning that they're not able to defend these towers. Batrider getting very low on this Ancient stack, but we'll be okay. This is a very important stack for his game. Needs his BKB as fast as possible, but just doesn't quite even have the damage to farm it up.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not going to be stolen, at least. That's the good news.
Yeah, Fishman trying to help out. Arcane Boots, a bit of damage from the curse. He's got a Wraith Band himself on that silencer for a bit of bonus armor against this Lone Druid, Shadow Fiend, Mars. It's always funny to see some of these supports or int heroes buying a Wraith Band, but there we are. The state of the game we're in. Anyone can do whatever they want.
You know what the most sad thing is with Lone Druid in the game?
What's that?
One of the supports doesn't get a neutral item.
Oh, right.
Poor Omni.
Oh.
Poor Omni. Just
So sad,
Lone Druid
so sad.
hoarding the double neutral item, wants the shovel and broom handle, and yeah, Omni pays the price.
That's unfortunate. What's the... Oh, Mars. Another Arena Kisses. This is the combo, but cancelled out by the global. Good combo break there from Fishman. Keeping Toby alive, but they'll clear the Spiderlings with ease thanks to the Scatterblast and the Razors. Yeah, another little poke from Entity, forcing reactions out of Aster, but they're just not giving up any of this space on the map. They're continuing to farm very freely.
It just feels like even not getting the kill, they're still getting farm across the map. Killing the Brood would be pretty catastrophic for Entity at this stage of the game.
Oh,
they're desperately...
Oh, Pure got off his attribute shift.
Okay.
And he's going to waveform down.
Yep. Even TP's out. Doesn't want anything to do with this and doesn't want to stick around. All three tier 1 towers claimed. Lone Druid's just been kind of playing solo on the top side of the map back. I don't imagine they're going to be linking up to maybe go for Roshan fairly soon.
What's the timing there? You can Requiem during the cookie stun? That's a pretty cool little play that they tried to make. And Pure was very quick on it. Actually, Toby getting caught down bottom. Yeah, the chain stuns again. While I do lose their Omni Knight top to Pure's Morphling, and Toby actually gets into the tree line thanks to his web.
Needs to be careful. Any kind of a spear could set up a kill on him, but Brood going to be forced to TP out. So, what's the play here for Entity? They can see in this bottom lane to the Mars, who's got the Blink Falcon Blade, and elsewhere I mentioned SF. You want some alone time as SF. You want to get that level 15. No Mask of Madness, no kind of greedy SF build this game. He's just trying to hit these early stat timings to really kind of link up with Lone Druid early on.
Yeah, is this going to be a Manta before BKB for SF to try and deal with the global silence? Or what do you reckon? Casual Yasha?
I'm okay with Manta style. I think dealing with global makes a lot of sense. Also, you look at this dire lineup, and there's, you know, there are things you need BKB against, like Bat and Nyx, but against Brood and Morphling, Manta style works fine. So both options seem reasonable to me.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to go for. Yeah, Manta queued up right now for Ori, so it looks like he's making that decision as he smokes with XXS and Baboka. Heading northwards.
Yeah, any kill probably gets them this top tier 2 tower. Deso coming out on the Lone Druid in just a second here, so that's a big power spike for this Aster team, but they're not going to find anybody in the area, which either is going to mean they're going to back off to go for Roshan, or maybe try and force some rotations by pressuring this top tier 2.
Good read by Entity. Toby going to show on mid lane, just clear out that, push into tier 1. While the rest of Entity down bottom, giving Fuel this very safe farm. Stormstorm shows on the wave, Pure is just farming jungle, while the two supports, they launch forward, get a good observer ward deep behind enemy lines in that Radiant jungle. Like you're saying, Roshan is always there as an opportunity for Aster just to walk into the pit.
It's pretty free here. And even leaving the Snapfire mid to kind of delay any kind of a push. They get scanned out, but I don't think the response is going to be in time.
There's no way in for Entity. Try and make the most of what you've got with this map space now.
And that map space is going to get smaller and smaller. They're definitely fine down in this bottom lane, and unless or until Aster makes some kind of sweep through. But I do imagine Aster want to get a tier 2 tower fairly soon. Probably both the top and the mid tower during this Aegis timer.
I'm trying to play under that ward. 3 heroes there from Entity, hoping for a hero to come walking up the staircase. Aster give them none of that. Baboka, yeah, really tucked back in behind. Very defensive, like. And Lamar's looking to reconnect with his team up top. It's kind of interesting. Like, Entity are the ones with the vision this game and not Aster, even with the momentum Aster have had.
Kind of a cool item pickup too. Lone Druid has an Ag Shard queued up, so having the basic Dispel that is shared between the Bear as well as the Lone Druid when he uses Savage Roar against things like Batrider and Silencer seems amazing.
Yeah, I think we've seen it a few times from Matsumaman, especially when he's paired up with a Shadow Fiend. Having that buff coming into the SF for the attack speed is really nice as well.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you can see how fast they push. This is pre-level 15 on SF. I don't actually think you want to wait for level 15 SF. It just takes too long to come online. They theoretically can poke and prod at this high ground, and that's exactly what it looks like they're going to do. They're going to at least want to force these TPs back.
Yeah, I mean, you know there's no Blink Bat. You know that Entity don't have that overwhelming teamfight prowess from, say, an Enigma or a Tidehunter. Still going to respect Entity's high ground hold, though.
Yeah.
Want to close in on them and limit this Morphling's farm as best they can. Pure still sitting here, 9,000 net worth, not looking too bad. 600 gold away from his Ags.
Juicy spiders. XSS TPs in the trees and clears a ton of them out. Being able to one-shot these spiders. He's gone for the casual Vlads. I don't believe he's got the Wraith Pact or anything. He just wants extra lifesteal and damage aura for his team.
Nice.
For the push.
That makes a lot of sense. It does suck a little bit for him that his job is to stick down bottom, though. I'd love to be out there with his Snapfire, finding fights and starting things off.
Yeah, he's the one playmaker, and he's being forced into this passive role, but as far as the overall strategy of this Radiant draft goes, they don't mind a more passive game. They've hit their timings now, and they're ready just to barrel down and brute force their way through all these outer towers.
Entity still looking for some kind of opening. Brood, Nyx on this right side of the mid lane, hoping that an Omni Knight or someone walks in towards them. But it's going to be Lone Druid, Mars, Shadow Fiend, all together. Nobody left behind, nobody left alone. That's a family affair from Aster.
Yeah, not trying to risk any high ground play just yet. They're doing things a bit more cautiously, going for all the outer towers, even sweeping out this bottom lane, probably to gear up for that tier 2 bottom. They'd love to find some of these kills. Mars is just always on the hunt, it feels like. He's been all 5 of their kills he's had his name on, but 5 kills each at 20 minutes. Very low action game.
All right, no one's got any spells to cast. Everyone's got passive abilities. We'll see though.
Pure
Batrider BKB, whether we can do something with it.
And Pierre's got the Ag Scepter on Morphling, which is going to be nice against the SF, but it's also the Lone Druid and his Bear, so not exactly a full-on counter. It's not like the game where you're up against like a single carry TB and you're using on him.
And they buy the gem on the bat as well, so it looks like this is their timing they want to play around. And try and keep tabs on Aster, remove any vision they can, but the high ground push is coming. Aster are there. Up onto the tier 3. Breaking into this dire base while Entity, I don't know if they're caught unaware by this because they're pretty distant and the tier 3 just drops quickly.
Nope. Or he's just baiting.
BKB though, the Manta dodges away from the lasso, finally comes out. The damage looks good though on the bat while Ori about to drop. Killed off as he was lassoed back in towards this pure Morphling. And now the chase is on. Fishman blown up, but the arena's in. Great play by XXS to spear up the Brood. Now the Morphling in trouble too. Feared and rooted, getting caught out, but he's got to wait for. Shifted up to 2,000 HP, and he breaks back to his high ground.
Good initiation by Entity, knowing they have to use the global silence to stop the Omni Knight. He's going to save the SF there with Heavenly Grace, Guardian Angel, and all that. So they get the global, they followed up with an extra silence from the last word on Omni Knight, so they guarantee the SF kill, but an amazing arena from XXS. We'll see it here again with the follow-up of the fight. There's just too much firepower coming out of this Aster draft, and you have to kind of commit everything just to kill an SF, so the fight that kind of ensues is very Aster favored.
Yeah, it felt like Ori was playing as if he had Aegis. It caught me off guard for a second there, thinking, hey, he's going to come back alive, it's fine, but no. It was the LD with it.
Yeah, a bit surprised considering SF's the one frontlining with the Spirit Bear. It almost feels like he could benefit a bit more from the Aegis, but nonetheless, the fact they got a tier 3 tower off of that Aegis that was already going to be expiring soon is amazing because, you know, their time to really go high rent is going to be Roche number 2. That's where they can try and get multiple lanes of racks. The good news for Entity is, you know, they're down 5k gold, but they've got all their items. They're ready to try and make a play and ideally contest that Roshan.
Yeah, no, it often feels like the tier 3, you know, I think it's definitely more important than the range racks. Maybe equal to the melee, because it makes this lane equilibrium very difficult to handle. Yeah, you're right, Toby. Speared up against the side of the arena. And Monet with that savage roar, pushing him back into the spear and shield wielding soldiers of XXS.
Oh, Snapfire bringing down the Wraith Pack super fast with the little shredder, and just a quick and easy kill. They didn't even need the kisses for it. And once again, it's Aster on the front foot, pushing forward. No Roshan for at least a minute and a half. We'll see if they go for any kind of a push or if they're just going to prioritize stalling out the game and farming. They're making a move down bottom from Morphling.
He's got shift off. Yeah, waveforms away. But I kind of like this from Aster, but as long as they... Oh, God, the catch on Omni. Entity trying to fight this. Just a bit of chip damage.
I don't think Aster want to hard commit. They've got SF Elter on the map. He's trying to get his level 15 plus BKB. I think level 15 SF with BKB and next Roshan is just like game over almost. So if I'm Entity, I'm looking at this like, okay, we held that push sort of. It wasn't even the best fight, but next one is going to be 10 times harder if we let them get Roshan. So you can already see, by the way, Entity have moved out. They've got the gem on Batrider. They're trying to deny all the Aster vision around this Roshan pit that they almost know that contesting Roshan is essential for their ability to survive this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a kind of an interesting position for Aster to be in. Usually in this kind of spot, Radiant would be playing top jungle, taking outpost, getting wards down. But I guess because tier 3 is down, they wanted to, you know, push an additional wave, clear out enemy ancients, sweep through the jungle, get a lot of farm on this lone druid, and everything slots into place very nicely for them because, you know, bottom lane is going to be naturally pushing. That tier 3 being down already, something Entity have to keep coming back and maintaining.
Yeah, that constant pressure is causing some problems, and Aster themselves positioned very kind of split up for the time being. They really want this BKB for the next fight on the SF. If he gets pulled in and lasted, as long as he can get the BKB off, he may feel like the damage isn't quite there to kill him off, although Morphling, he's ramping up. Not just Aghanim Scepter now, has a Manta style to go with it, and this Ags is going to really limit what the SF can do in these fights.
Yeah, it makes life much more difficult. We do have an Assault Cuirass, though, on the lone druid now. A very, very big bear, but a long spawn on Roche, close to 3 minutes. Means we've got 2.5 minutes remaining for both these teams to vie for control around the pit. As Kataomi gets off his carapace, but again, the swords and the shields of the arena make sure the Nyx is crushed.
Yep, and that Nyx not a part of the Vanguard.
He's not very tanky, is he?
No. Aster back off, constantly going to be scanning out this Roshan, and they're going to be a little annoyed with how long it takes to respawn.
Is he up yet? Is he up yet? No, son. Still another 2 minutes to go. I'll just keep these waves pushed out then. And they're making sure the farm is limited for Entity here. You know, Pure having to rely on these ancients. Maybe you can clear out a mid-wave or two, but it means that, you know, Toby and Stormstormer, their farm is going to start lacking.
I think Aster would love to get this Lotus Orb on Omni Knight. It's going to make his game so much better if he has a way to get rid of the global silence. He's got the Arcane Boots, so, you know, he's still pretty far. He still needs 2,000 gold, and without some kind of like Philosopher's Stone, that's just not really happening. So we'll see if there is any room for him to farm. I think you just can't prioritize it as much as you want the item.
No, just hope for the best. Get some gold somewhere. Get some bounty runes for him. Well, look at them. They poke their head back into the pit. Only spiders to meet them. No Roshan yet.
Is under attack.
XXS here with an arcane rune. Might be itching to battle. I know that a teamfight victory here could lead into Roche and very quickly move into that dire base as Entity ready themselves for what is the biggest fight of the game here for them. Oh, they nearly had the real one there, hey? Pure trying to outplay, but the turnaround comes in. Stormstormer looking to blow up XXS, but he's BKB'd and arena'd up. The global comes, Kataomi's down. And Aster able to stand their ground. The Bear and the Shadow Fiend moving forward swiftly, looking for the Pure Morphling, but he's waveformed away. A buyback from Fishman's Silencer now, but no Nyx Assassin for this fight. Means they're in a 5v4. Focusing the Bear.
They're getting very low. Probably doesn't want to quite resummon it here. So the great use of the shard. The Bear kind of getting kited a lot with all the slows and whatnot, and then he just uses that Savage Roar for a quick dispel. Entity not quite getting the fight they were hoping for, though.
Sending the Bear all the way back to base to regen, so he doesn't have to resummon. And Roshan up now, holding on to that Aghanim shard.
No global silence for this one. If they wait a little bit, Arena up in 40. But Stormstormer looking to engage.
Yeah, Flame Break onto 3 heroes. Firefly's up, but Stormstormer, no lasso means no initiation.
Yeah, they're playing so aggressive, feeling like Pierce kind of hit his big timing to really join these fights, but he needs to be careful. Gets the spear on just the illusion. Yep.
Tanks it for him, and the stun from Kataomi catching Ori, but he's got the heals and saves behind him. Requiem fake pumped for now. As Entity still chipping away at Aster here, charging forward, lassoing Baboka, killing off the Snapfire. Maybe forcing a buyback.
Kind of just waiting for this arena to come back up. It's finally cooled down, but without the Mortimer's damage, maybe not going to be quite enough for them. Snapfire does have the buyback. Would love to hold onto it and finish off this Lotus Orb, which, yeah, I mentioned the Omni Knight Lotus. The Snap's also got the same idea. Getting the Purge off on that global silence to guarantee that you can use your spells.
Omni's had to buy a new gem, though. Snapfire lost it with that death. It was obscured by all the webs. I couldn't quite see it, but all the players are pinging a gem on the floor, and Toby was the one to pick it up and hand it over to his Bat Rider, it looks like. Oh, no, that one's owned by Fishman. There was another one that was owned by the Omni Knight. Yeah, there's one in the Dire base. So there are now 3 gems in the game.
Right. And all of them on Dire? Is that
2
right?
on Dire, 1 on Radiant.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, coming out now on the Omni. Yeah, I think for the probably the discussion is that this Snapfire is going Lotus, and we'll use it on Omni Knight. Like, Global comes out, purge it off Omni Knight, and he can then save whoever's being lassoed or whatever. Because I think the Snapfire, it's less important to like self-Lotus, because your spells don't save your teammates.
That's true. We're trying to sneaky Roche here.
Yeah.
Spiderlings.
They come.
Catch on Toby, though, but he misses the spear. XXS whiffs it. Wraith backs down, and Toby, pretty tanky, looking to get back to the high ground, and focusing a lot of their damage onto that Spirit Bear. Roshan barely taking a scratch of damage, and Aster already forced to reset. Well done by Entity to drag this out and continue to look for their opening, to allow Pure to really get involved.
Yeah, I think Aster really want to just completely disengage and stall this one out. I don't think they want to try force a Roche or team fight until Arena comes back up. Probably just a scenario. I mean, they definitely want to stop Entity from getting this one. They'll stick around, but Entity want to force a team fight.
Yeah, Stormstormer. Looking for XXS, but he does have that BKB. No Arena for the Mars, though. As he blinks forward and gets global, Pure focusing in, but the Bulwark gives him so much defensiveness. Mars now in on top of the Morphling, but a man to dodge away from the Cookie Bear gets Pure away from there. And another reset as Kataomi jumps in. A 2-man stun again leads to nothing. And just back and forth between these two squads. Really, really tight team fight around this Roche. Spear
back.
Morph. Got off his shift, has a BKB to play with. Half health on the Morphling now. He's gonna have to waveform away back towards the rest of his team. A victory.
Well, they're throwing the kisses. Pierce getting low. Has a 4-stuff out, so he'll survive through this, but a lot of damage being dealt. That may be enough to zone them out and secure Roshan.
Yeah, I mean, that was a W for Aster.
W for someone.
Keep Entity away from the pit. I mean, Pure, he's back to full HP. He's got salve for days.
Yep.
And Roche, half health.
Who's it going to go to?
Oh, this is dangerous territory now. Kataomi, stun dodged by Ori. In comes XXS for the BKB up for Stormstormer.
Another miss spear.
Focused up, he's feared up and killed off. Both supports down on Entity and needed the buyback out of the Knicks. Pure, he's the one being focused now, but his BKB is going to weather through that Requiem Assault. Ori with the punches, though, needs the waveform back to high ground. But this surely is going to give up control of the Roche pit. Surely. Entity's still trying to fight. Baboka buys back now, and you're in a 5v4 Entity.
As mentioned, Entity just know this Roche is game over for them, I think, if they don't get it. Or at least it feels that way when you're up against this Lone Druid SF. They've bought so much time, they've delayed it. Both teams playing so jittery around the pit, and with how low Roche is, this is danger time. This is do or die time.
Both of these side lanes as creeps push in. No, aren't they meant to be heroes in this game? What's going on? Everyone's in the Roche pit for the past 5 minutes.
Yep. Creeps getting to feel some mercy here as...
The bear's nearly dead. Monet, Ori, looking to finish off this Roshan. Toby is edging around the pit, though. Misses out on the spear, though. The bash comes in. Monet and Ori focusing onto the Brood and get the kill on Toby. Buyback immediately, though, as Pure looking to bring down that Spirit Bear of Monet. Very tanky, though, with that
Bat Rider.
Steel coming through. And the waveform in. Roshan's nearly dead. Stormstormer's there. Snatches the Aegis. But the Bat will die the first time. Ori and Monet are on their plate now as XXS plays forward aggressively with a cookie. Baboka, but turned. The stun from Kataomi. Aiming for the SF with the lasso. They're a big Mars Arena, though. It holds the ball in place for this SF and Lone Druid to do damage, but Fishman, he's going to force staff away, and Pure's Morphling still alive somehow, getting back in on top of the Mars, killing off Aster one by one, and Ori's done for.
Oh, somehow they've done it, the fight into the Roche. I don't even know what to say about that one. That was just pure chaos for the last, 6 minutes of the game around this pit. Both teams using so many buybacks, using so many spells, missing a lot of spells along the way just out of fear of their opponents roaching, and finally in the end, it's a Roche that just instantly gets kind of negated. It was like it was always all for nothing, it feels like. I mean, but for nothing, that's great for Entity. They're the ones looking to stall this and not give up an Aegis, and also they get a huge gold swing in their favor with all the kills they got in the end. And as this game goes on, this Spirit Bear is not going to be able to carry things in the late game. There's so many annoying things that kite the Spirit Bear. We've seen the Napalms, the Silken Bowler. Just really tough game to drag out as Entity poised to maybe swing this game back in their favor if they can just keep pushing things later and later with Pure's Morphling.
Look at that graph. Holy shit, the dive. It was 3.5 grand going the way of Entity, and a third of that, 1,000 gold, went to Morphling. With 4,000 experience, I mean, the fact that Morph hasn't died, stayed alive through those 6 minutes of fighting around Roshan. If Pure isn't a household name now, he will be soon. As an Arena Kisses combo will catch Toby up in the top part of the map, gets down to low ground, and a force staff back by Fishman, getting Toby yet again out of danger. Entity just playing out of their minds in these team fights.
Yeah. The crazy thing when we saw those graphs, it's still 75% Aster favored according to Gaimin. So they're really liking Aster's chances and their draft's ability to continue to scale. I think the SF is obviously a big part of that. And on the dire side, the Brood is feeling a little bit lackluster as things goes on. It's kind of this aura bot, so it does feel like Aster get a lot more out of all three of their cores as this game drags out.
You know what the problem is here? Monet doesn't have a name for his Spirit Bear.
That is a travesty.
Yeah, no El Doge, nothing like that. Baboka getting found by Kataomi and Pure, and the Global gives the cover for the Bat Rider to lasso the Omni Knight. Look to bring him down before he can get his spells off. The Guardian Angel does come in time, and Pure with his BKB looking to retreat as Toby's Broodmother shredded by the minus armor and right-click damage. Fishman looking like he's going to join him in the grave. 2 down for the price of the Omni Knight there, so Aster feeling a little better about themselves coming into that fight.
Yeah, so much used on an Omni, and the fact he still got the Guardian Angel off right before he died made a big difference, because Pure had just kind of arrived and gone into the middle of things and was probably ready to look for a new target, but couldn't dish out any damage, so Entity were forced to just fully disengage and cede a couple extra kills to Aster, who are using this Mars particularly. XSS is constantly finding pickoffs. 18 kills, and he is 5-1 and 13. That's 100% kill involvement for the XXS Mars.
Oh, what a monster. Is this the high ground again for Aster? 30 seconds with no Brood.
Buyback, yeah.
Yeah. Glyph required.
Lasso the SF. He's got a Lincoln Sphere, and you'll have to find a way to break it.
Yeah, Lone Druid puts his bear on the front lines. Wraith Pack there as a defensive tool. Kataomi with another attempted blink stun, just going to catch illusions.
That Rax just got deleted so fast. It was like 2-3 seconds and it's gone, and Aster's out of there. So they swoop in, grab a Rax, and get out. It's just the one lane, but that's just one more lane of pressure that's going to be constantly going Entity's way, and means that next lane of Rax is so important to be defended.
Yeah, just casual 11,000 building damage on the Lone Druid. No problem for Monet.
Nope.
Quadruple Wraith Bands ready.
It's looking a lot better from the 2 GG branch days. For a long time, he just had 2 branches plus brown boots. So
yeah. Get all the bonus armor and stuff from those Wraith Bands, especially with the double up effect of it.
Yeah, once you hit past 25 minutes, yeah, you feel pretty nice about this.
I mean, what is he? 43 armor, and when he's in true form, he's got like 4,000 health. Maybe a touch more. Incredibly tanky hero. He's got Basher queued up, but he's already got a Basher. We'll see what he decides to go for next. XXS. Did he see Pure? No, he didn't. Didn't catch a glimpse of him there as the smoke broke. And tier 4 items starting to come in for both teams. Timeless Relic on the Batrider is a huge one.
Oh, absolutely. It's got a refresher queued up, so really looking to play around these lassos as best as possible. So that's they can get. They've got the Witchbane on Morphling, so having that added Dispel as well, maybe against some of the things like that Savage Roar bonus.
Aster. Looking for control. Oh my god, Kataomi! The perfect initiation! Ori has the BKB Requiem, but he's already dead! Pure! He's aiming for XXS, but the BKB TP there gonna be... Oh, he's got the lasso of the Lone Druid! Entity again, some way, somehow! The perfect jump, perfect heroes, the perfect kills!
Just so quick. Just jumping this Omni Knight. He can't afford to be positioned that far forward, and off of that, no buyback on Lone Druid. Has it in 350 gold, but unless they can find some bounty runes, he's not getting that, and SF has a buyback, but gotta imagine Eddie will be pushing forward here. They just do so much damage. Morphling just ignoring the SF who's pumping his Requiem with the BKB right clicks and a Daedalus. He just deletes Shadow Fiend with that 5,000 damage. I mean, what an impale.
That's it, right? We've seen this Nyx Assassin through regionals, through LCQ be such a vital hero for a number of teams, and this is why Kataomi just out of the shadows, demolishing Aster with one stun.
Florida kisses out just to stall this push.
Wait, where's the Slacks chat wheel line? You know, God, gamer alert! That's Kataomi right here in a nutshell. Nice, Entity's turn to start pushing high ground now. At least forcing these waves in towards Radiant Base. It's felt like 40 minutes of losing from Entity, but they found ways back in through some sick teamfight execution.
Yep. I can't believe Dota Plus still thinks Aster has this game.
By how much?
It is on the copium. 64%. Full copium from Dota Plus, from Gaimin.
We'll see how that updates in the next minute or so. It's not caught up for the last fight. Pure saved up again by the global silence, but now that's a long cooldown for Aster to exploit.
Spiderlink's going out, gonna get some intel, but easily cleared out as well. And SF does have a ninja gear, so he's playing around that self-smoke as well.
And Aster not making any rash moves. A minute for the next Roshan, just looking to deward their Ancients area. Control up a bit of space on the map, but you've got to feel they're a little bit shaken after these team fights. They need something to go their way to break out of this rut they found themselves in. A 3k lead has emerged for Entity. Morphling right up at the top there, 4 grand ahead of his nearest opponent. And Aster smoking. Coming in behind Toby.
To pop this.
Breaks the smoke, the fear, the spear. Where is it from XXS? He misses it. So Toby's still alive, and the backup from his team, it'll start to arrive. Tries to flicker over the side of the arena, heals himself up, he's feared and nearly dead. The raise, and the last hit connects. They do take him down, but the lasso comes in onto the Omni Knight, killing off Siamese Cat. So Aster now needing some way to defend their SF. A Requiem with a fear buys a bit of time, but Lincoln's is now popped, and the damage from Pure. It is monumental as the Morphling moves in for more. Baboka way forward upon, and a triple kill for the Morphling. 10-0-8 for Pure's Morph here, and cruising.
We're just not seeing or feeling the impact of this Omni. It feels like every team fight is getting caught and picked off and found. Stormer has just been on point all game long, finding the Omni, taking out the GA. That's all Pure needs. You kill this Omni and there's no GA, nobody can go toe-to-toe with a right-click Morphling. We'll see it all again here in another fight where Toby just tanks all these spells, a solo arena. He dodges the spear once more. And Toby's survivability and elusiveness has been a key part of Entity's success as well.
Yeah, I think he would have survived there if the flicker had taken him over the arena, because he got it off, but it didn't move him. Now Entity. Aegis on the Morphling, cheese on Nyx. Gem's still there to keep dewarding. And high ground they go. Pure on the tier 3. No SF for 15 seconds, and he's going to respawn with 12 souls.
Definitely not ideal. Not really much they can do to defend this mid lane of Rax here. And they've got 4 minutes of Aegis to play around on the Entity side. They can easily go from mid lane to these side lanes if they want, but with 5 heroes alive, they may have to reset and look for that clean initiation before making another go.
Have you seen this? Pure has bought 6 mangoes.
Okay. Is he using them on his teammates himself?
I don't know. He's got 3 on Courier, 3 in his backpack, and I'm not quite sure.
There's no, like, mana burn to worry about, so to speak.
I'm wondering, did he buy them or were these shovel mangoes? Surely it's not 6 shovel mangoes, right?
I don't think so. He's probably just buying them because he's maybe occasionally running out of mana and you can just kind of bring them into your, you know, quickly eat 3 at once. But yeah, definitely right now you're looking at me, he's like, well, does he have mana problems? It doesn't feel like it.
DD.
Oh,
there's a DD. He swapped the mangoes in.
What's he doing with them?
Okay. Munch, munch, munch. Bottles up the double damage rune. He just wants to be full mana.
That was, yeah, just so he could carry the bottle, but... yeah, I mean, there's merit to it. He's 6-slotted, like, what do you use your extra item slots for? He's already got the Refresher Shard, so having some free mana doesn't make 0 sense, but here we go. 1 initiation. This DD Morph is going to absolutely demolish her.
There's the blink. They found out the hero, the Lone Druid himself, dragged back into the stun from Kataomi. The Lone Druid's dead. Caught out without buyback. And Aster now, I don't want to run back to Fountain, but we've got the second lasso saved up by the Omni Knight. The global and the damage, Pure shreds through him. 2 heroes gone, and Aster in shambles. The refresher up from Pure, waveforms forward, and GG is just called. Entity.
Too much damage. This Morph in the Fountain, getting some more kills for himself and his team, getting some tips. What a comeback. This game looked all but over.
What a massive... I mean, that's a comeback. It's a massive comeback for Entity in that game. Ridiculous
really
scenes. I mean, how did that Morphling end? He was unkilled the entire game, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was 13-0-9. Pure's Morphling, absolutely flawless. Storm only dies once, 4-1-17. I think, to me, the story of this game was just, like, Aster unable